Welcome, friends! Today we're diving deep into one of the most profound teachings in history, Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. This message isn't just ancient wisdom, it's a blueprint for living a life of peace, purpose, and impact. We're counting down the top 7 life-changing teachings, so stick around because number 1 and 2 might just change your life forever. Let's get started. At number 7, we have the Beatitudes, a series of blessings found in Matthew chapter 5, verses 3 to 12. Jesus begins his sermon by saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth." Each of these blessings flips the script on how we see life. The world says, be strong, rich, and powerful to be happy. But Jesus says the opposite. True joy comes from humility, mercy, and purity of heart. For example, poor in spirit means recognizing our need for God instead of relying on our own strength. Mourning isn't weakness, it's about finding comfort in God during life's deepest losses. And being a peacemaker, that's actively working to bring healing in a divided world. The Beatitudes remind us that God's kingdom values are entirely different from what the world celebrates. Which one of these blessings speaks to your heart? Let me know in the comments. Next, at number 6, Jesus says in Matthew chapter 5, verses 13 to 16, "You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world." What does this mean? Salt has 2 main purposes: to preserve and to enhance flavor. Jesus is calling us to preserve goodness in the world and make life more meaningful for those around us. Light, on the other hand, represents hope and guidance. In a dark world filled with pain and confusion, you can shine God's truth and love. But Jesus also warns us not to lose our saltiness or hide our light. Are you living boldly as a Christian, or are you blending into the crowd? Remember, even the smallest light can shine brightly in the darkest places. Your actions, big or small, can point others to God's love. How will you shine your light today? At number 5, Jesus delivers one of his most challenging teachings: love your enemies. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 44, he says, "Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." Now this goes completely against human nature, doesn't it? Our instinct is to get even or hold grudges. But Jesus calls us to a higher standard. Why? Because forgiveness sets you free. It's not about letting someone off the hook for their wrongdoing. It's about releasing yourself from the burden of anger and bitterness. When you pray for those who hurt you, it softens your heart and opens the door for God to work in both your life and theirs. Think about it. Who do you need to forgive today? It's not easy, but it's worth it. At number 4, we find a timeless treasure, the Lord's Prayer. In Matthew chapter 6, verses 9 through 13, Jesus teaches us how to connect with God through prayer. "Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven." This prayer is a masterpiece covering every aspect of our relationship with God. It starts with worship, "Hallowed be your name." Then it moves into surrender, "Your will be done." It asks for daily provision, "Give us today our daily bread," and ends with protection, "Deliver us from evil." The beauty of this prayer is its simplicity. Whether you're new to prayer or a seasoned believer, this teaching reminds us that prayer isn't about fancy words, it's about your heart connecting with God. Have you prayed this today? Taking the third spot, Jesus gives us a profound challenge in Matthew 6, 19 to 21. "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and rust destroy, but store up treasures in heaven." What does this mean? It's not wrong to have money or possessions, but Jesus reminds us that they're temporary. Cars rust, clothes wear out, even fortunes can disappear. But the treasures we store in heaven, things like love, generosity, sacrifice, and faith, last forever. Think about this. Are you spending your life chasing material success, or are you investing in things that truly matter? This teaching helps us shift our focus from the temporary to the eternal. Coming in at number 2, Jesus gives us one of his most comforting teachings, found in Matthew 6, 25 to 34. "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes?" Let's pause for a moment. How many of us wake up in the middle of the night worrying about bills, our health, our family, or the future? Anxiety can feel like a constant weight on our shoulders. But Jesus offers us an alternative, one rooted in trust. He continues, Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Jesus is painting a beautiful picture here. Birds don't have elaborate financial plans or savings accounts, yet they have enough to survive because God provides for them. And flowers? They don't work to clothe themselves, yet their beauty surpasses even Solomon's royal robes. Now, this teaching doesn't mean we should stop planning, working, or being responsible. The Bible encourages hard work and stewardship over the resources God gives us. But Jesus is asking us to shift our focus. Are we trusting God to provide what we need, or are we trying to control everything on our own? Here's the key. Planning is wise, but worrying is wasteful. Worry doesn't add a single hour to our lives, it only drains us of energy and joy. It's like running on a treadmill. You exhaust yourself but go nowhere. Jesus ends this teaching with an incredible promise in Matthew 6:33. Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. What does that mean? It's about putting God at the center of your life, trusting him to guide your steps, provide your daily needs, and handle the details you can't control. When we prioritize seeking God's kingdom, everything else falls into place. Think about it like this. If God can orchestrate the entire universe, keeping the planets in orbit and sustaining life on Earth, don't you think he can handle your rent payment, your job situation, or your health crisis? So instead of letting worry consume you, Jesus invites you to pray, to trust, and to focus on today. He says, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. What would your life look like if you truly trusted God with your worries? Maybe you'd sleep better, smile more, or have the courage to take that next step of faith. I challenge you, this week when worry creeps in, pause and remind yourself of Jesus' words. Hand your anxiety over to him and let his peace fill your heart. And finally, at number 1, we have the golden rule. In Matthew 7:12, Jesus says, "So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you." This teaching is so simple yet so profound. Imagine a world where everyone lived by this principle. No more selfishness, no more cruelty, just love and respect. The golden rule isn't about being nice to get something in return. It's about treating others with the kindness and dignity you'd want for yourself, even if they don't return the favor. Take a moment to think. How can you live out this teaching today? A small act of kindness could make a big difference. There you have it, the top 7 life-changing teachings from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. These words are more than just teachings. They're a roadmap to a life of meaning, joy, blessing, and peace. Which teaching impacted you the most? Let me know in the comments below. If this video inspired you, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.